Here are four deep sleepers at running back in 2025 fantasy football drafts. We're starting out with Tank Bigsby of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yes, it's expected Trevor Etienne gets the shot at being the top guy, and Bashal Tutin was drafted with all that speed. But guess what? This team needs a power back. And although Bigsby's only 213 pounds, he runs with physicality. Last year, 766 yards on only 168 carries for Bigsby. Also, 7 touchdowns. 96th percentile yards after contact, 80th percentile broken tackle rate. Now, Bigsby's not much of a pass catcher. That's fine. He'll get some goal line work, between the tackles work. His snap share did grow in the second half of the season, but he did fade a bit down the stretch. Hey, he hit the wall, but he'll be better and ready for that this year. Bigsby will carve out a role here. He is so different than the other two running backs. You're getting him around running back 50, which is depth area. Bigsby could be a whole lot more than that for you in your fantasy drafts. Next, we'll go with Nick Chubb, Houston Texans. And Nick Chubb, early camp reports say he might not quite have that burst back that he had pre-injury, and that's tough. The 29-year-old came off a real tough knee injury. He returned last year from that 2023 injury, but then he broke his foot. But that said, Joe Mixon will miss almost the entire summer with a foot injury. Woody Marks is in the backfield, but he's more of a receiving threat. And ultimately, Nick Chubb still has time to get himself into better game shape and work back from those injuries he had. And all that said, CJ Stroud's the quarterback, and they have Nico Collins, and teams are going to have to defend the pass. So Nick Chubb is in line to potentially get volume. Remember, Joe Mixon has not been an efficient runner, less than 25th percentile in broken tackle rate and yards after contact. So even if Nick Chubb is a fraction of what he used to be, he's probably better than Joe Mixon. So again, you're getting Nick Chubb outside the top 50 running backs. He could move into volume. He could get better as the year goes on. It's a bit of a lottery ticket, but that said, he is a player that had a huge baseline of talent and production for most of his NFL career. If you're enjoying this breakdown, take a second, hit like and subscribe. It helps us keep the fantasy advice coming your way. And if you want more of RotoWire's tools, rankings, and insights, we got a 15% discount just for our YouTube viewers. You go to rotowire.com, you pick out a subscription, and you use the code YouTube15 at checkout. All right, we're going to talk some Keaton Mitchell next. Now, Keaton Mitchell, devastating knee injury in 2023. He tore 3 major ligaments. He tore his hamstring. The good news was Mitchell at least made it back on the field in 2024. No, he wasn't good. He only had 33 snaps, 15 carries, but he got back on the field. Early reports, John Harbaugh, Keaton Mitchell have both said Mitchell is very close to back to what he was pre-ACL, and he was a dynamic runner and receiver. Now, in that crazy 47 carry season in 2023, 8.4 yards per carry, yes, he'll never reach that again. Devon Achane had that 7.8 season. We knew he'd never reach that again, but we just saw the explosive ability. Even on Mitchell's 9 catches in 2023, at 10 yards per catch. That said, Keaton Mitchell is in a battle with Derrick Henry. Of course, Henry's the lead number one by far, but then Justice Hill is a player that Mitchell could take snaps away from. Yes, the coaching staff loves Justice Hill, but if Keaton Mitchell has some of that speed back, think about the speed and the change up to Derrick Henry that Keaton Mitchell would present. Defenses playing at the speed of Henry will then deal with the speed of Mitchell. It would be a really huge advantage for Baltimore to use him. Don't know what his early season usage will be, but if Henry, unfortunately, please don't miss time, but if he does, Keaton Mitchell could put up some explosive numbers, even on 10 to 12 touches per game. You're getting him outside the top 70 running backs, making him a great dart throw. Final dart throws, Kyle Monangai, Chicago Bears, 7th round draft pick. We never expect much out of players drafted there. But look, DeAndre Swift has taken on a huge workload the last few years. He's done very effective work. Not great, but effective. And that said, Swift had an injury history earlier in his career, and he's had 2 healthy seasons. If Swift were to miss time, Roschon Johnson, who was the number 2 back, was in the bottom 5 percentile of broken tackle rate and yards after contact last year. He was terrible the year before that. Roschon Johnson is not an effective NFL running back. Kyle Monangai projects to be an inside power runner. The Bears now have a potentially good offensive line. They're learning during training camp and struggling, but they will be good. And the defenses that play the Bears will be worried about DJ Moore, Romo Odunze, Colson Loveland. Monangai is a great late round stash because if Swift were to miss time, it would not take much for him to move past Roshan Johnson into that grinder back role.